kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome, everybody, into Lebanon, Tennessee, home of the Nashville Superspeedway, and home tonight of a massive race here as the WSRL takes on race number 2,000. 51 seasons, 2,000 races from both Tuesday and Friday night series. I'm Mike Damoni up in the booth. Joined with me, as always, is Liam. Liam, man, how's it going?
I am doing fantastic tonight. I can't think of a better track to be at than just outside of Nashville here. I mean, an amazing party scene. Got the Broadway going on. There's all sorts of music stuff going on. And, yeah, like you said, 2,000, that's a big number. I remember, it's kind of irrelevant, but I remember being a kid watching Joe Mauer hit his 2,000th hit. And thinking, wow, that's such a big number. How does anybody ever get to that? Well, these guys have done it. I mean, they've been racing for, like you said, this is the 51st season, 2,000 races across Tuesdays and Fridays. It's a great group. And, well, speaking of big races, we've got a big field here. It looks like 35 drivers going to try to take the banks here at Nashville.
Yeah, definitely. They've been on track for a little while here. No surprise at the man who's at the top of the heap right now, Justin Michael, with a 29.78. You just saw Chris Samard roll on by with a 29.90. So they are definitely rolling here The weather isn't as hot as I would think it would be, as their track temp's only 84 degrees.
Yeah, getting into the sunset, that's only going to cool down as it moves on into the night. So these guys are going to get a little bit more grip throughout the course of the night. That might tighten up these trucks a little bit at a track that's already super tight.
And at Chad Simpson now, first lap for Chad was a 30:34. As that 42 Toyota Dr. Dabber machine rolling pretty well. Talked to him last week.
Interesting to note, James Lehman won 3 of the last 4 races. The only other multi-time winner this season is Justin Michael, who's currently fastest. But James Lehman currently sitting outside of the top 10 with both of his laps done. Going to be 13th for right now with a 30:08, 3/10 slower than the pole time. We'll see if that translates to the race or if he's got something a little bit more long-run focus here tonight.
Yeah, Chad Simpson wound up a little short last week, coming in P2, but he still maintains that points lead. 34 points back to Ryan Steele, but all of that changes once we hit probably about 5 more races, and they'll start taking into account drop weeks, and that's going to shake up the standings even more. They don't do playoffs here. You just are allowed to lose your worst 3 races, and then whoever has the most points is going to win the championship. So we'll see how that works here as Matt Sisler, 30:01 for his first time.
I believe pretty new to this league. I think this is his first season running with these guys. Currently sitting in the top 10. We'll see if he can improve. He does just a little bit. Oh, no, sorry. Had that backwards. He's going to go a little bit slower, about a 10th slower on his second lap. So he's going to be slotted in at 10th place for right now. Coach Davis coming to finish his second lap. Chad Stearns and Christian Bishop are getting onto the racetrack, starting their laps. Charlie Widener as well just took his green flag. We'll see what Butch Davis can put down. Lap number 2. He's going to improve to a 29:94. Puts him up into the top 10 for right now.
Yeah, these guys have been out on track for probably a couple hours throwing down some practice laps. We saw a few guys run longer than what we're set to race tonight. The race tonight is only going to be 120 laps, 80% fuel, 3 sets of tires in the pits. This is a little bit more abrasive than most of the super speedways, as it is that concrete surface.
I gotta ask you, how important is track position going to be here tonight? I mean, we watched it practice. These guys weren't really running more than a lane or 2 off of the bottom. It seems like it's going to be a really bottom favoring type of racetrack. So what does track position mean in starting up front?
Well, I think especially with the guys that we have, you're probably going to want to either be up front or you're going to try and get off strategy to get that track position late in the race. Especially right now when you're looking at the top, you have Dennis Fuson, who found some speed with a 29:89, so he's up there in P2. But you'll have Justin Michael, Chris Samard, Lyle Swearingen, basically all of the usual suspects up front. So trying to start up front might not be where you want to be. You might have to start closer to the back, and then just try and get off pit strategy to get that track position late.
And of course, you never know how the cautions are going to fall throughout the course of this race. We've got a lot of trucks. We've got a lot of laps. This is one of the cleaner leagues we've seen. I mean, these guys last week, they had a drafting track in Atlanta. Still had a pretty clean race. A couple of bigger incidents, but you can kind of expect those anywhere you go at a late track.
Yeah, definitely. As we're watching Dustin Burns, see if he's going to be able to get this lap to count, and it will not. So his last lap was a 30:41, so he's going to be rolling off 28th. We had, 8 drivers not to take a qualifying bid, so they will start at the back of the field as we get set to grid up here.
Pace cars out there ready and waiting. The trucks are getting out there, getting started, getting engines heated up here, ready to do battle here in Nashville. The IndyCar Series Championship decided here. NASCAR's been running here in the Cup Series for the last couple of years and putting on great shows, I believe since 2021.
But no surprise at the man on the pole, Justin Michael. Dennis Fuson going to be just to his outside with Chris Simard and Heath Smith rolling off in row 2. Row 3, Lyle Swearingen and Chad Stearns. Brian Barnes and Bob Beltrami are going to roll off in row number 4. Row 5, Butch Davis and Bentley Glazer. Then we've got Chad Simpson and Charlie Widener. Matt Sisler and Ray Partridge are going to roll off in row number 7.
And then after that, we've got Ryan Steele and Matthew Opliger. Justin T. Wilkinson outside of the top 15. James Lehman in 18th after winning 3 of the last 4 races. Jai Baxter looking for his second win of the season in 19th. Going to have some traffic to overcome with William Fletcher up to his outside. Wayne Hutchison and Christian Bishop make up row number 11. After that, we're going to go back to Morris Bogan and Dustin Corder in row number 12. Julian Ritchie, Andy Werica, Barry Phil and Dustin Burns, Dan Brazington and Wayne Fleet round out your top 30. We've got Kyle Oakley, Cody Matthews, Daryl Scott, Todd Miles, Kerry Kleber, Scott Kukas, Keith Kelman, and James Campbell rounding out a massive field of 38. And all 38 of those trucks are on the grid. Nobody starting from the pit lane and nobody missing the start. So this is going to be a blast from the get-go, Mike.
Yeah, these guys definitely show up. I mean, even at Watkins Glen, we almost had 30 drivers. So, I mean, these guys show up and they put on a show every time they're out on the track. So look for some good, hard racing here. We'll see what Justin Michael can do from the pole. Driver you want to look out for is Dennis Fuson. As he's been improving as this season has went on, we'll see what he can do as well. Justin Michael did win the last time they were here back in the spring. He was able to bring home the win. Other drivers of note who have won here before, Butch Davis and Bentley Glazer also back there.
I think a note before we get going here is that nobody in the Western States Racing League has repeated the win here at Nashville. We'll see if that can happen today as the pace car makes that hard left turn, Mike.
A hard left turn, Justin Michael on the button as they get ready to hit that Geico restart zone, and he is down and away. Going to have about a car and a half length as he's going to slide up in front of Fuson. Leaves the bottom open just a little bit as he tries to arc that corner.
Yeah, arcing that corner very well. He's getting about a car length and a half, and he kept Fuson on the top side. Here comes a little bit of a run for the 11 coming up off of the corner. He's going to get within half a car length. Does he dive down to the inside? A little bit of contact there to the back bumper of the 87 in the first lap, turn number 3.
Yeah, he was trying. He was getting close. Had to back off just a little bit. Lyle Swearingen already up 2 spots running P3 now as he's got that 68 Mountain Dew Toyota rolling.
It's going to be a race, Mike, where passing is super tough. You're going to have to take that run, try to get underneath somebody coming up off of the corner. These cars, they tighten up off of these corners. You know, it's tough. We see Chad Simpson up at the 42 working the top side, and he's going to lose a couple of positions there as he works the outside of the 43. Butch Davis, another 3 wide with Brian Burns in the middle. Around goes one on the front straightaway. Looks to be Barry Phil in the 98.
They were all over the track there. Barry Phil went off the track, kept going in the right direction. 3 wide, though, and that was 3 wide in a hurry. Brian Barnes stuck there in the middle as they have single filed out now.
This race is, we're going to see a trend single file for a little while. Oh, and Barnes gets into the wall there.
Bentley Glazer down to his inside.
95 of Widener tried to go to his outside. Caution is out. Dan Brazington is around down the front straightaway. Damage to the right front of that 29 truck. He's going to bring it straight to the pits.
Let's see if we can go back and take a look, see what happened with Barry Phil here first. Then we'll take what brought out the caution.
While we were looking through the pack, Dennis Fuson actually took over the race lead from Justin Michael.
Oh, he just got loose. Well, nothing really there, just got loose.
Did a real good job saving that truck, making sure it didn't go all the way around or hit anything harder than it did. All the way up on the outside, the 37 slides up the track a little bit.
Oh,
man.
Well, as you saw there, it looked like connections issues is what kind of brought that out there.
And the 29 truck was definitely reacting to the contact, but it didn't look like the 73 or the 242, Andy Werica or Scott Kukas, reacted to that contact at all. So network issues there, causing a bit of a problem for Dan Brasington. He's going to go into the pits, see if he can't get that sorted out a little bit. Come back and try to gain some points here again. But first caution of the race, out early, lap number 4. Now we've got 5 completed.
Okay, lights are still on. Okay. let's see this pass for the lead here. If I can grab it.
.445.
And Fuson gets a run, splits Swearingen there. He just gets down to the inside of Justin Michael, takes the preferred line and takes the lead.
Textbook pass there. Couldn't have been at a better time here as they came across the line right as that caution was coming out. He's going to have the chance to restart in the lead. Got blocked a little bit on that initial start. He's going to have the field in his hands. As they take the restart, I believe it'll be on lap number 8. We get the 1 to green this time.
Yeah, 1 to green this time as they get stacked up as they cross that start-finish line. We did have a few drivers elect to hit pit lane. Drivers looked like they were involved in that little dust up there with Dan Brasington. So Fuson gonna lead him down here.
That'll be Fuson. We got Justin Michael to his outside, Lyle Swearingen, Heath Smith, and Chris Samar round out your top 5. Bob Beltrami up in 6th place, Chad Stearns in 7th. We got Chad Simpson, Butch Davis, and Bentley Glazer round out your top 10 here on lap number 7. Restart on lap number 8. 112 laps to go. Still a long way to go on fuel and tires. But we did have a couple drivers come in to top off, so we'll keep an eye on that. Pace car makes the hard left turn. Fuson gonna lead him down into the Geico restart zone. He's on the gas, he's got a jump, and we are down and away. Act number 2 here in Nashville.
It looks like I'll say Fuson copied Justin Michael's restart from the first one as he slid up in front of Justin Michael, took that inside line as he was coming through the corner, battling down the backstretch. Fuson, Justin Michael, Lyle Swearingen.
Mark looking down to the inside of Swearingen there, but not quite enough room or momentum to make that pass happen, get his nose in there. Side by side for the top 5 spot with Chad Stearns down on the inside of the number 1 Oregon Ducks Toyota Tundra of Heath Smith.
Yeah, Bob Beltrami, Chad Simpson also side by side. Then you got Butch Davis and Bentley Glazer.
Looks like Smith is going to be able to get clear of Stearns. Stearns tried to dig in deep to get back to the inside of that number 1 truck. He's got a run coming up off of the corner, not quite enough. Slots back in behind. Chad Simpson up on the top side is starting to fall back just a little bit. He's still up 4 spots from where he started. Now he moves up to the outside of Chad Stearns, trying to take advantage of what the 1 was just able to do. Give himself a nice run coming up off of turn number 2. I feel like turn 2 is a little bit easier to get that run up off of than turn 4 is.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way, is the way the track has been trending here. But Justin Michael looks like he's either trying to save fuel or tires as he is falling back. He is
Now,
almost 2/10 off, and we are under caution again.
Willie and Richie. Contact. Puts us under caution once again here from Nashville. Front end damage to the 97.
See what brought out that. Looks like damage on the rear end of that 97 machine. Oh, the 28 came up. Oh, 3 wide in the middle.
'28 just came down, clipped the 97. The 97 into the wall with both ends. Tears off that rear bumper cover. Kerry Cleaver in the 69 Ford has elected to come into the pits. Coming back out now.
Breezington still there.
Sure what brought the 69 down pit road, but truck looks clean and down and away after 6 seconds. Could have just been a quick top off. It's happening very early here in Nashville. 2 cautions in the first 12 laps, and well, with tight quarters like this, I mean, this track is tough to make a pass on, and things tend to stay really close, especially if somebody up front is holding up the rest of the field. Might see a little bit more bump and runs than we're used to seeing at what you would call a super speedway, Mike.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's probably, going to try and get them to slide up the track so you can take advantage of that bottom line.
Yeah, I've seen that second lane working a little bit. Did notice with the 1 of Heath Smith and the 42 of Chad Simpson, they were both able to make that outside work a little bit.
Yeah, I think if you have the consistent speed, you're going to be able to make that work. The other thing where we've seen it is coming into 1, maybe you can kind of cut the corner a little bit and get down to the inside and make that pass before you exit down the backstretch.
It's not impossible here, but you got to set it up. You got to be methodical about it. Not as much space to run quickly as there was last week at Atlanta. These guys were able to make the outside work, the inside work. Wherever the draft was what was going to work. Completely different story here today. Even though this track is just about 0.14 miles shorter. The old concrete surface, the dramatically less banking here creates for a completely different style of racing. Now I'm stating obvious things like Rick Allen. Mike, save me. All right, well, Dennis Fuson holds out of the race lead here under caution. Should be getting the 1 to green this time by. Lyle Swearingen in second. Chris Samard, Justin Michael, and Chad Simpson round out your top 5. Heath Smith, Chad Stearns, Bentley Glazer, Bob Beltrami, and Butch Davis.
Yeah, round out that top 10. biggest mover of the race right now is going to be Daryl Scott. They're back in 24th.
Still up 9 positions here. Keith Kelman, he's up 8. Starting in 37th place, he's up to 29. Still got a long way to go, but we double up here, getting ready for another run of green flag racing. We'll see what both of these guys are able to do on yet another restart.
Yeah, I definitely think that whoever has control of the restart is gonna have the advantage to be able to slide up in front of that outside lane. But it seems like that outside lane's been able to stay with them and almost set up the pass on the next lap, or at least get close enough to think about making that pass.
We'll see if the trends stay the same on this restart or if they're going to go a little bit different. I anticipate they'll stay the same. We'll probably see the 11 get a good jump, move up in front of the 68, arc his corner. I would imagine the 68 probably stays a lane up off of the bottom and gets himself a little bit of a run coming back off of 2. Based on what we've already seen, but it's racing, Mike. You always see things you've never seen before.
Yeah, exactly. Pace car makes that left-hand turn down pit lane. Dennis Fuson with the button. Lyle Swearingen just to his outside. Down and away. Fuson with a huge jump. Gets out to almost 2.5 car lengths, maybe 3. Has plenty of room around him to make this corner perfectly.
Perfect is absolutely correct. Here's the 68 up on the outside. He's going to get himself a little bit of a run on Chris Samard. Probably close in just a little bit on the back bumper of that 11. But man, that just goes to show what an advantage it is to be the control car on the restart. 2.5 car lengths by the time he got into turn 1. Well, it looks like that 68 is cutting into that lead right now. Still got to pass him.
Yeah, definitely. But Dennis Fuson must have figured something out here as he is running lights out. Lyle Swearingen, Chris Sumard, and Chad Simpson, the FBR Motorsports crew, is trying to close in here, but not making too much of a dent at the moment.
A whole heck of a lot. They're side by side for the top 5 here. Chad Stearns trying to keep that 1 behind him. Into the wall goes the 1 of Heath Smith and the 43 of Butch Davis just behind him. And check up the outside line a little bit. Potentially create some 3 wide just behind him.
It looks like Bentley Glazer had to check up just a little bit, allowed the 05 of Chad Stearns to slide up. Bentley Glazer is running pretty quick, staying down on the bottom line. Good to see him back where he belongs in the Western States Racing League. Been away for a little while, but making his return this season.
Beltrami got super close to the wall there, had to take a little bit of corrective action. Almost got into the side of Butch Davis. That's kind of something that we talked about a little bit in practice. So coming up off of the corners, that wall seems to jet out at you. These corners are tight on exit. I think it's really going to come down to who can keep that right front cool for longer and be able to stay down low on corner exit to get those runs coming up off.
Yeah, I didn't envision us staying side by side for as long as we have, even in mid-pack. I figured they'd kind of single file out, log some laps, and then try and make some runs later in the race here. But they are pretty much putting that to bed here. Is back by P10-ish. They're still side by side. Even back further than that, looks like JTW is going to push side by side with Fissler.
A lot of side by side here, and you guys have been at it for 5 laps, almost 3 wide here down the front straightaway. Is the 95 down on the inside. He's getting passed up. It's Charlie Widener.
It looks like Charlie Widener lost a little bit of ground, went down through the infield just a bit, able to gather that truck back in. Now he is all over the back of Jai Baxter trying to make a run. Wayne Hutchinson now just in front of him. There is racing almost all over this track, man.
There absolutely is. Is that Appalachian State on the 95, the Mountaineers? Should know. Either way, that Toyota Tundra not moving the way that he wants to. Started 12th in this race, all the way back to 22nd. working the outside of Jai Baxter, trying to hold on to a 21st place with that 5 truck. Fighting hard on the inside. Not too far behind him is Daryl Scott. Driver who's moved up the most positions. He's up 10 from where he started, in 23rd right now. Currently under fire from the 28 of William Fletcher. Fletcher down a few spots from the start of the race. That 62 is going to go way wide up out of the groove and into the grayer stuff.
I think as we go back up to the front here, and Dennis Fuson has now driven almost a half second away from Lyle Swearingen.
That might not seem too dramatic right now, but a little bit goes a long way. As long as you keep putting down consistent lap times and you're not overdoing your tires, you're leaving it all on the 68 to try to work harder, try to go faster to catch up to you. You don't want to make a mistake because that's going to give the 68 free time back on your back bumper. As long as you keep doing what you're doing and just extend that gap little by little, by the time you get later on in this run, you're going to have a nice gap. You're going to be much quicker. As they're side by side here, just outside the top 10, and 20 of Opplinger down to the inside of JTW, Justin Wilkinson.
And James Lehman just behind him as well. So, you know, there's some fast cars back here in the back. Looks like Ryan Steele, Brian Barnes, all back there as well. So, see what's happening as Heath Smith goes down to the inside. Justin T. Wilkinson up to the high side.
That one truck, another one that's moving the wrong way, down 7 spots from where he started after 25 laps completed. Definitely not the way he wants his race to start off. There's still 95 laps to go, but seen how tough passing can be here, and it looks like he's just getting freight trained down on the bottom side. That second groove seems to be really working here in the early portion of this race.
Yeah, I think that second groove almost has a better line through the corner, and that's where the times get made up, as Heath Smith is losing another position, this time to Ryan Steele as he goes to his outside. Brian Barnes back there as well. Christian Bishop all trying to push by.
Pretty wide looking, coming up off of turn number 2, the 26 of Christian Bishop tried to get his nose up there on the outside of Barnes. Barnes making that move on the outside of Heath Smith, who's now down to 16th position, about to be 17th. He is getting freight trained like a lapped car at Bristol right now.
Yeah, and I don't know that he's really doing anything wrong. It's just, oh, gets a little loose, bump, comes up the track. Wayne Hutchinson into the wall.
Well, that's one way to get yourself up to the top. Not that I think that was anything intentional there. I think Heath Smith potentially just kind of done with getting freight trained, tried to dive it in there, and potentially some netcode hooked those cars together. Thankfully, it wasn't a bigger incident than it was in the 17. But Wayne Hutchinson able to continue on with what looks to be minimal damage on the right side.
Yeah, definitely talk about driving angry. He is put to the floor now as he's trying to battle back.
Dog Bear Racing Toyota Tundra works the outside. 21 of Dustin Corder trying to keep him behind him. He can keep marching forward. But that 21 putting up a great fight. It's just outside the top 25. There is incredible battles everywhere out on this racetrack, as now we've got a battle for the race lead.
Lyle Swearingen down to the inside. Dennis Fuson on the high side. That gap closed in a hurry. Fuson battling hard on that second lane. And it looks like he's going to be able to maintain it for the time being, but Lyle Swearingen is not going away quietly here.
Don't look now, but Chad Simpson just went up to 3rd place after starting in 11th. He's up 8 spots, now sees the leaders side by side in front of him. What is he going to do with this bigger hole in the air? Potentially more momentum coming up off of the corner. Oh, and there's Justin Michael moving back up to 4th. He got around Chris Samard as well, as they are still side by side for the lead. Lyle Swearingen going to dive it in deep into turn 3, trying to get the nose in front. Tough to complete a slide job here, especially with the 11th run coming up off of the corner. Dennis Fuson stays strong. He's going to lead this lap by a skosh, but the 68 does not go away.
No, 68 staying there right down on the inside, trying to stay as low as he can through the corner, hoping Fuson will make a mistake in that second lane. Fuson has not done so yet, and he has the momentum coming off the corner as they head down into turn number 3.
And Simpson down on the inside trying to help out that 68, but here comes Justin Michael to the outside for second, getting a run up off of turn number 4, trying to follow the 11 through. Chad Simpson jumped up, looking to follow for a second, moves back down. Justin Michael tried to take away second place, looks up to the top side. Looks like he might be trying to take away the race lead coming up off of this corner.
Yeah, Dennis Fuson's going to have to be careful because if he gives that high side to Justin Michael's going to take it, and he's going to take the race lead. Lyle Swearingen has lost momentum as he is now back to 4th after racing hard for the race lead. Might have burned up it a little bit or might have just decided to check out, save some stuff, and try a little bit later.
And Stearns has caught up to this group, and the 77 of Chris Simard has fallen back to 6th place after being in 3rd just 2 laps ago. Chad Simpson to the outside looks on Justin Michael, but not quite enough. He's going to have to fall back in line going through turns 1 and 2. The top 7 all single file, and under a blanket as now Justin Michael moves down to the inside to try to take away the race lead once again.
Justin Michael's going to be able to take away this race lead. Dennis Fuson not going to be able to put up the fight that he put up before, but he is not going away either. Still staying there.
Justin Michael, oh no, Dennis Fuson led that lap by just a hair. That outside working wonders for the 11, but now he slides up a little bit out of the groove. That's going to allow Justin Michael to get clear for the lead, and Chad Simpson to get down to the inside to try to take away second place.
Dennis Fuson trying to hang tough there, trying to get back in the groove, stay where he wants to be. He's ran the same line almost all night, was able to hold off Lyle Swearingen. You see Swearingen bounce off the wall just a little bit.
Swearingen just scraped the wall a little bit, doesn't seem to hurt him much. But Chad Stearns goes down to the inside. Got him confused with Chad Simpson up in 3rd for a second as we were looking at him. Chad Stearns gets down to the inside of the 68 of Swearingen, and it looks like Simard thought for a second about trying to peek the middle 3 wide. Not going to work there for Simard or Stearns. Now Simard moves to the outside of Stearns to try to take away a top 5 position. We're on lap number 36 out of 120. This is by far the longest green flag run we've seen of the day. We're at 25 laps. Guys are absolutely booking it around this racetrack. Justin Michael doing a great job as he takes over the race lead. Still watching this Chad Stearns, Chris Simard battle. Neither one of them wants to give an inch.
No, they're closing in on Lyle Swearingen there. So they're trying to figure out where they want to go because it seems like they both start to get that run, and then Swearingen kind of dives down and takes a little bit of the air away, and they're right back to racing side by side. Bentley Glazer rolling in here. Looks like Dan Brazington back into pit lane.
Got off the racetrack for a little while. He's currently sitting 9 laps down, coming back into the pits. Are going to be able to get clear of Chad Stearns down the front straightaway. It looks like he is. Chris Simard up into the top 5, but Stearns fighting back on the inside. Here comes a move by Matthew Opplinger to the inside of Butch Davis. Going to get that 8th position.
These guys are battling all over the track. See the timing and scoring just going crazy here as Stearns and Simard are still battling. Swearingen getting sucked back into the battle as well.
Simard working the outside of Swearingen, taking away this 4th position. You got to wonder if Swearingen maybe used up a lot of his stuff. Got to wonder if he used up a lot of his stuff while he was racing on the inside of Dennis Fuson for the race lead. Maybe if Fuson did the same thing. It's now Justin Michael's lead is almost a second, driving away here on lap number 40.
It looks like Justin Michael was saving his stuff as he is starting to drive away now. Guys do have all 41 laps on their tires. Looks like
Hutchinson
Wayne
into
Hutchinson.
the pits.
Yep.
Here comes Chad Simpson to the inside for second. I was just getting ready to say, I think that 42 is a little bit quicker than the 11. not able to find the way around him right now, but I think he might be able to fight with that 87 over the course of the long run if he can get that cleaner air in front of the 11, and it looks like he's going to be able to do that off of turn number 4.
Bentley
Glazer, Jai Baxter.
Sideways.
These guys potentially be trying to split this into thirds. Michael leads by 1 1/4 seconds over Chad Simpson, Dennis Fuson, Chris Samard, and Chad Stearns. And while I have a minute here, I'd like to give a couple of shout outs. You guys are into motorsports poetry, fantastic book called Don't Thank God. Thank the Crash Test Dummies That Came Before You by Frank Allison. Find that on Game Over Books. Our very own Jordan Brocco is also an author. You can find his book, The Shadow Remains, on Amazon.com. Then, of course, the most important shout out. I'll embarrass you, Mike. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Mike. Thanks for spending it with me up in the booth instead of with the family.
Yeah, you
know. No, I hope you had a phenomenal day here today, and well, what better way to close it out? Western States Racing League, race number 2000.
Definitely, man. It is a blast calling these guys. These guys go up every week and put on a show. As we were talking there, it looks like Lyle Swearingen came down pit road, so exactly what we thought. Probably burned up his stuff as he went into the pits. So
only 80% fuel on these trucks. I mean, you would anticipate them being able to go maybe 55, 60 laps on a full tank. We're hearing more radio chatter, more drivers are coming into the pits. And there might be a situation of you don't want to get undercut here.
Well, the driver that I always turn to, and I know I say it a lot, but the driver that I always turn to see if they're going to even try it is going to be the driver of the 12, Ryan Steele. I don't know what he does, but anytime there's a fuel mileage race, he's always the driver that tries to push the limit just a little bit. So if he thinks he can one-stop it, he will probably try to do it.
He would be the one. It's almost the Brad Keselowski, Paul Wolf duo. Ricky Stenhouse was that guy for a little while too, but just pushing as far as you can, hoping that caution falls your way, and some guys a lap down. Matt Sisler just in front coming into the pits here this time with Bob Beltrami. Oh, one sideways, that's the 20 of Opliger. He goes around on pit entrance, tags the wall, but that's going to cost him a hefty amount of time. They're going to have to take a look at that left front as well. Take a look back up front. Justin Michael continues to lead. He's increased his lead just a little bit. 1.3 seconds now over Chad Simpson in second place. And it seems like the corner entry is really where Justin Michael is making up his time.
Yeah, that would not surprise me.
Time around 2/100ths in the favor of second place Chad Simpson. Chad up 9 positions from where he started in 11th, hoping to make it an even 10 so he can get out front. Biggest mover of the race right now looks to be James Campbell. It's up 18 positions in 20th place after starting shotgun on the field. Doing a pretty good job in that United Floors Canada Ford F-150 coming up off of turn number 4, just in front of Scott, or 2 rather, just in front of Scott Kukas. Kukas moves down to the inside. Todd Miles and Kerry Cleaver have both moved up 17 spots from the start of this race, as now James Campbell gets passed. He's in that 17 club as well. Kyle Oakley and Cody Matthews just in front, both up 16. Christian Bishop in 10th place is up 12, and James Lehman started 18. He's in 6th place. He's also up 12 positions. There's a little bit of contact between Bentley Glazer, or rather Ryan Steele. Oh, that is Bentley. And Butch right. Davis. It looked right. I looked at the scoring, and the name was different. Didn't realize Glazer. I had forgotten that Glazer already came into pit, so he's got some fresh tires, able to carve through this field.
Yeah, that's going to be the difference. What can you do with those fresh tires if you're planning on making 2 stops? Because as of right now,
Justin Michael pits for the lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be close.
lap number 50 to make that pit stop. I cannot imagine these guys can go 70 laps on a tank of fuel. These guys likely, I mean, everybody's going to have to make one more stop. Chris Samard's going to be coming into the pits this time. See what Chad Simpson does. How long does he risk staying out? He's going to come in one lap after Justin Michael. Like, we just now get a good angle of that, but this is such a tough and tight pit road to get on under green. We saw it with the 20 of Oplinger getting spun around on pit entry.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times. We saw Bentley Glazer almost get sideways. Oplinger did get sideways and hit that wall. So pit entry under green is going to be, could be what gets you your track position here. Maybe you take a little extra time to get down to pit road speed before you actually get on pit lane there, as they are battling here. It's not for the lead, but James Lehman is leading this race.
James Lehman staying out a little bit longer. We'll see if he can make that magic number of 60 to at least open the possibility of making it to the end on just one stop. However, we did have some caution laps in the first 15 laps of the race. That's going to allow these guys a little bit more fuel on this first run.
Yeah, that's going to be the question, too. How much did it actually save? Because, well,
Lehman's coming in now.
apparently not too much.
Oh, and around goes, was that Bentley Glazer? Caution is out. Couldn't tell who that was, but somebody got turned around entering the pits. Contact was made, and well, Mike, we just talked about it. This is one of the toughest pit lanes to deal with, and now we're under caution. Looked like the black and blue truck just behind the 38. Can't tell who that is at the moment. Christian Bishop, I believe he's the one who got turned around.
Let's see.
Oh, Brian Barnes gets into the back of the 26 as he was slowing down to enter the pits.
Morris Bogan did some fancy driving to avoid pit lane.
Bit of landscaping.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the tougher things. You know the pit lane's coming. You slow down. You call out your pits that you're heading to pit lane, and then you just get rear-ended.
All of the top drivers have come into pit. Ryan Barnes, Butch Davis, Ryan Steele, Charlie Widener. However, Bentley Glazer and James Lehman going to be some big beneficiaries here. Bentley Glazer was able to get his lap back on track with his earlier pit stop pressure tires, and then James Lehman, of course, came in the lap prior to that caution coming out. Well, he was actually on the pits when the caution came out, so the car slowed down. He did not lose a lap. Now he's going to be able to get back up to the front here. Like you said, Mike, you almost want to offset your strategy a little bit to try to gain some track position when you're starting mid-pack or towards the back. That is the exact situation that has fallen into the lap of that 50 truck. And the 87 and the 43, Bentley Glazer, Butch Davis, they're going to be 1-2.
Yeah, they definitely started about mid-pack. Then you had James Lehman and Ryan Steele start towards the back because they're both up 15 and 11 spots. Bentley Glazer's going to come down pit lane now.
We'll see if he takes a set of tires here. I mean, we anticipated 2 stops needed. They've got 3 in the pits, so they do have 1 to play with. However, if you get that late race caution, especially with how we've seen lap times fall off here, I would have to believe you want to save a set just in case you get a caution with 20 laps or less.
Well, he does have about 14 laps on those tires, so.
I mean, he was probably going to be a sitting duck on the restart anyways.
Well, in all reality, yes.
Caution maybe hurts the 87, needing to come in and take that second set of tires. Now he's only got 1 left to make it to the end of this race. Butch Davis is going to inherit the race lead.
Yeah, looks like quite a few drivers are going to take the wave around.
At least 12 of them up there. Maybe 15. So this restart's going to look a little funky. We'll have about the top 12 or so doubled up, double file. Everybody behind who took the wave around, or anybody else who is still a lap down, will have to line up single file. Oh, actually, I'm incorrect. The lap down cars did not take the wave around. We'll be able to line up in front of the wave around cars. All of these 15 trucks that are going around the pace car are going to have to restart single file. One to green here. Lights are off on the iRacing.com pace truck. Butch Davis on the inside of James Lehman. Ryan Steele, Ray Partridge. Haven't seen him up front much at all today in the 8. See him up there. And that Dog Bear Ford F-150. Kyle Oakley, James Campbell, Dustin Burns, and Brian Barnes round out the top 10 here on this restart just before halfway. It'll be lap 58 as we take the green flag.
Looks like Lyle Swearingen came down second time on lap 55 as well, as they are stacked up, ready to roll. Pace car in, and Butch Davis going to lead them on down. Like they got a little jumble there, about 4 back on the bottom, but Butch Davis down and away, gets 2 or 3 car lengths, see if he's going to slide up in front of James Lehman and try and roll through turn 1 and 2 here.
Big lead on this initial start. Sideways is the 95 of Charlie Widener. Big time slide there through turns 1 and 2. Keeps it straight, but he's going to lose some momentum. Get put 3 wide down the back straightaway. 38 tried to split the middle. That's Kyle Oakley. Thought better of it. Backed out just a little bit. As they are side by side in front of him once again. That Dog Bear number 8 on the inside loose as they come up off of the corner. 3 wide further back. That Nesquik truck was getting swallowed up by the rest of the pack. Right now that 8 moves back down to the inside, trying to take away the position from Charlie Widener. That's a battle for 5th.
James Campbell running up inside the top 10. Usually don't see him up here. Brian Barnes, Bentley Glazer also up there as well.
Forget James Campbell running 8th. Started dead last, 38th on the field. Currently sitting 8th, up 30 spots. Fastest lap of the race was just set by your new race leader, James Lehman, as Butch Davis tries to fight back on the outside. James Lehman ran the fastest lap of the race at 29.96. Led that lap at the stripe, but Butch Davis fights hard on the outside. Going to pinch him down a little bit. 3 and 4 here, not allowed to use as much racetrack. Can't get that momentum. Butch Davis retains the race lead. Charlie Widener scrapes the wall up off the 4.
Butch Davis able to hold tough on that high line, and he's back to the lead. We got some battling going back here. It looks like the 04 of Dustin Burns is hemorrhaging positions here as he is stuck with some fast cars around him, as Chad Simpson, Lyle Swearingen, Justin Michael, JTW all back here trying to work their way back towards the front.
It's a tough situation that all these guys have been caught up in, being a lap down when the caution came out, having to take that wave around, having to get around some lapped cars before they can race for a position. Going to be a struggle for some of these guys, as we've got a little bit of contact there between Glazer and Campbell. Brian Barnes able to get around Campbell. Glazer trying to follow him through. A little bit of contact with the doors there in turns 1 and 2. Everybody gets away okay. Almost a little contact behind them with the 19 and 37. That's JTW and Cody Matthews in the Buc-ee's Chevy Silverado making that pass.
Bentley Glazer pulls down once again, going to get to the inside of Campbell. Side by side they go. Glazer should be able to clear him on exit.
Quite, the 13th stays strong, about halfway across the door there, getting down the back straightaway. He's going to pinch him down. That's not going to be enough. Bentley Glazer gets that position, put the 87 back up into 9th place.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd try that too many times with Bentley Glazer, but Glazer's able to get by, and Campbell's able to keep rolling.
Buddy Matthews slides up the racetrack a little bit. That's going to allow the 19 of Wilkinson to get to his inside out down the back straightaway. Almost a little bit of contact as those two came very close together. A little bit of side draft on corner entry, but JTW didn't quite get the entry he wanted. That 37 is going to have momentum on the outside, but what a middle of the corner there for JTW. He cuts down in the middle, gets a nice exit, is able to keep that momentum with the 37.
Yeah, he's able to drive off and stay right with him. That 37 is not going away.
No, not at all, Mike. And I have to say, I might have been incorrect with my prediction at the beginning of this race. I thought it was going to be a bottom feeder. Maybe the second lane was going to work a little bit. But it really seems like that second and third lane is where you want to be, at least when you're making passes. If you're able to run by yourself, you want to use up all of this racetrack. But you lose so much being stuck on the inside, not being able to use up all the racetrack, get up next to the wall coming off the corners.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that is the line you want to be. You want to be up by the wall, and you want to almost make that late corner entry and stay about a lane and a half up to get that drive off as you're cutting down the corner. That seems to be where all the speed comes from, is that 37 is able to do it once again and stay in front of the lap car.
Mike, interesting that you just brought up the wider entry. Look at JTW now. It seems like he's trying to take a little bit later of an apex. He missed the bottom that time around, but every time he's come off of turn number 4, it seems like he's exiting lower than I'm seeing anybody else do, and he's making up more speed. Watch what he does against the 13 here. He's going to cut down below and get himself a nice run down the front straightaway. Might even be able to make this pass getting into turn number 1.
Yeah, if you're running by yourself, I think that's definitely, definitely has the line. That's probably one of the quicker ones on track. You see him still stay up, and then he'll make that right turn, and he didn't get quite low enough. He thought Campbell was probably going to stay there as well, but
turn it right here, Mike, because there's contact. Around goes Campbell into turn number 3. A little air gets underneath him, and he's going to hit the outside wall. Still green at the moment, but contact from the 19 sends the 13 around and into the wall. There's more calamity coming up off of turn number 4 as these guys trying to get around that 13 machine. But James Campbell's fantastic day. He's taking a tough break there. Now he's working the inside of Scott Kukas, almost 4 wide coming up off of turn number 2. They are going to be 4 wide.
He is driving angry, and somebody's gonna take the brunt end of it here.
Rocking through the middle, 3 wide. Had to let off the gas a little bit to avoid Scott Kukas there. Kukas gets himself a nice run up on that 25 coming up off the corner. That's Todd Miles. This guy's 1 lap down, but that is a battle for position between the 242 and 25. I'll tell you what, 20. Oh, and into the wall. Looks to be Jai Baxter in turns 1 and 2. No caution that time either, but heavy damage to the right side of Jai Baxter. He hit that wall a ton. That right front is not spinning at the same speed as the rest. Got to take a look to see what happened to Baxter here. Got the 20 down to his inside. Oh no, Campbell got into the back of the 5.
Campbell
and the 5 turned right to avoid hitting the 20, it looks like. Maybe he got loose and overcorrected, but either way, after the contact, that thing shot up the racetrack, made hefty contact with the wall.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a little bit of net code there might have happened and kind of shot him up as you saw James Campbell kind of disappear for a moment there.
Seems to be what the radio chatter for the team is saying too. It might have been a little bit of a network issue, but we look back up to the front. Butch Davis still holds out of the race lead, but it is a very, very small margin as Lehman here all over the back bumper of the 43. Will try to poke his nose down under just a little bit, but it seems like Butch Davis is able to get that corner exit just a little bit better than Lehman is for right now.
Yeah, just a little bit. Go back here.
Say, don't look now. Ryan Steele, he's still right up with these top two. These top three have gained a second and a half over more. Words are hard right now. Morris Bogan in fourth place. He's a second and a half off of this top three group. Now Lehman tries to get down to the inside. He had a little bit better of a bottom corner there, and Butch Davis still able to get that momentum coming up off of the corner. Car length now getting into turn one, almost two.
Back here and take a look at Justin Michaels. He's going to the inside of that 37 of Cody Matthews. He's going to try and get by. He'll slide up in front if Matthews tries to hang on or cross him over, as he did have a little bit of momentum, but not enough, as Justin Michael takes P11.
He might have had a little bit of a wiggle there that kind of cost him some momentum, and now he's under fire from that 28. 28 is William Fletcher. He's not on the lead lap. However, he's got a quick truck, and he wants to try to get as close up to the front. That way he can get himself in the free pass position. Michael sits in 11th place. Started on the pole. Down 10 spots from where he started.
The battle up here as well. Ray Partridge and JTW closing in on Ray Partridge and Brian Barnes.
No, JTW is going to have speed just about everywhere he goes. One of our winningest drivers over the last couple of years. Now sitting in 10th place. Got a pretty good bead on these two in front of him. And now that lap car down on the inside going to help his case a little bit based on where all three of them caught him. The 8, the big loser there, Ray Partridge, loses a ton of time to the 4 and to the 19. JTW rocking that same late apex type of line that he's been working all night. This is about where this track is going to be the grippiest. We are in full darkness right now. Ambient temperature is 78 degrees at the moment. That temperature is 84 roughly. Continuing to come down. Not going to get down quite to the air temperature, but as the air temperature continues to drop, the track is going to cool down a little bit more. Guys almost looking 3 wide. Matt Sisler, Bob Beltrami, and Dennis Busan. But so many laps early on in this race.
I would say Dennis Busan has been mired back here, hasn't been able to drive through the field, but when he was up front, he was leading this thing, and nobody really could pass him.
So Justin Michael about 40 or so laps, maybe more, to get that race lead from him. But once he did, he was able to drive away. The only problem is Justin Michael's mired back in 11th right now with a track that's really tough to carve through the field at. That's Simpson around Cody Matthews. That's for 12th.
The 8 of Ray Partridge and 19 of Justin T. Wilkinson battling hard side by side. I think we're getting. I think we're in that pit window, so we'll see who decides to come down win.
These guys battling like this, that's allowed Justin Michael to close in just a little bit more. Partridge going to try. Might have enough to get back down to the inside of that 19. Campbell currently sitting 23rd. He's still up 15 spots from where he started, but tags the wall there. The second half of this race has not gone according to plan. Contact with JTW, sent him around down the back straightaway. Came back up the racetrack and made contact with the wall. No caution. He unfortunately just kind of had to keep on driving. Lost a ton of time with that as Bob Beltrami and Matt Sisler race side by side coming up off of turn number 4.
Yeah, they were side by side for quite a while. You had Dennis Fuson running with him, but Dennis Fuson has been able to put them to bed and drive away. He's over a second out in front of these drivers now.
Exactly what you want. You want to keep increasing that gap. Be a bit of a struggle, though, for Butch Davis to increase his gap. It's up to about 0.4 of a second. Ryan Steele is now closing in on the back bumper of James Lehman, but is still relatively close for the top 3 positions. 97 goes wide coming up off of the corner. That allows Butch Davis a little bit more time as James Lehman had to let off of the gas. Avoid that truck. Wayne Fleet's coming into the pits. Lap down car, but it would be a telltale sign that the rest of them are coming soon with 35 laps to go.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely getting in within that pit window. You don't want to stay out too long, but you also don't want to come in a little too early and get stuck a lap down either.
And I mean, these guys are falling off a 1.5 to 2 seconds off of their fastest lap. So when you come in for those fresh tires, the advantage you're going to have is incredible. There's really no way for you to be able to hold on old tires with the gains that you can make on pit road.
No, definitely not.
Pit fuel only. You might have an 8-second pit stop and gain 6 or 7 on the rest of the guys behind you, but it's going to be about 3-4 laps before they get to you.
Yeah, we saw Matthew Opplinger come down on lap 78. He is running 30.60 for lap time versus the race leader running 31.63. So they definitely have an advantage.
Question is, how soon can you pit to try to make the undercut on the race leader? And if you do, are you going to be able to hold on those slightly older tires as Brian Barnes comes into the pits from 8th place? First of your top 10 drivers to make a pit stop under green. Should be the money stop for the 4 machine.
Yeah, it's all a matter of when you can pit, when you think you should pit. I mean,
Deal inside for second. Here, Mike, you were saying.
It's all a matter of when you think you should pit, because I mean, if you think there's going to be a late caution, you're going to want to just stay out as long as you can to that very last second. But also in that, we saw what happens, when everybody tries to come to pit lane. So it's one of those double-edged sword things.
And I mean, Butch Davis, James Lehman, Ryan Steele, they all got one of the biggest advantages in that last pit cycle with how late they pitted. I believe Davis was able to come in and pit under caution along with Ryan Steele. If not, they pitted right as that caution came out. They were able to stay out and retain the race lead. Justin Michael and Justin T. Wilkinson come into the pits along with Chad Stearns in the 05 Toyota Tundra. 3 Toyotas on the pit lane right now. 4 with Matt Sisler. 5 with Bob Beltrami, and Daryl Scott's in the pits as well. He's in a Chevy.
Yeah, don't worry about so much the top drivers coming down pit lane. They're usually relatively safe with their pit entries. But some of the other drivers, maybe they're not used to the speed that they're carrying in, and you can have an issue there. Heath Smith also in pit lane, so we got quite a few drivers coming in.
Pit lane almost reminds me of the old Las Vegas. Before they did the repave in 2007, that was a really flat track, and pit lane came right up off of the corner. Getting off of the bank and getting down to the inside, getting to pit entry was so tough. We saw numerous drivers spin out, some big names even. Mark Martin gone around entering the pit lane on the old Las Vegas. It's a tough one to get on here at Nashville, and I'm amazed that we've only seen the one incident getting onto pit road here tonight, or two, rather, if you want to include the 20 getting spun down there on pit entry.
I mean, these these guys just had to deal with Atlanta, where you're coming off that high bank, turning down, as they didn't have that pit entry, you know, coming through turn 3, basically. So, I mean, they've had a couple tough weeks of pit entries here.
Definitely have. Atlanta last week, probably the toughest coming up off of turn number 4, just given how many cars you've got directly behind you when you choose to make that pit stop, and given how narrow the track is. As you see, the 25 works his way up to the outside. That's Todd Miles
And
getting one of his laps
caution.
back as the caution is out once again here. Believes very filled. God, Kukas might had something to do with that as well.
It was just Barry.
Phil there. Oh, yeah. Wrecking down the front stretch with Christian Bishop.
Oh, he just...
He was way loose on the bottom and just kind of swept up the racetrack. He collected the 26.
See what happened here. '21. It looks like he just called it a day. Well, that's exactly what the drivers who are on the lead wanted.
Oh, absolutely. That is entirely what Butch Davis, James Lehman, Morris Bogan, Ryan Steele all wanted to see. Now they're able to come in, make that pit stop under caution, and some of these guys a lap down and force a bunch of them to take that waiver out. Like Ryan Barnes in 12th place, all those drivers on back are going to have to take the wave around the pace car. It includes drivers like Justin T. Wilkinson, Justin Michael, Bentley Glazer. This Fuson in 22nd position after leading a good portion of the first half of this race. Just in front of the race leader here by a couple trucks. And with 24 laps to go, this is going to be a really, really tough situation for that 11 to overcome from 21st position.
Like Matthew Oplander coming down pit lane once again.
Thing to note here, Mike. Butch Davis, James Lehman, Morris Bogan, Ryan Steele, all of those guys who stayed out still got a set left in the pits. You get a late race caution, they could potentially come back in and use those fresh tires to try to carve up through some trucks. But who knows? 24 laps is a long time. I believe we'll have the restart with 22 to go.
Well, seeing as how those guys are trying to warm up the tires, I got a question for you. Since you race, way more than I do, or race way more than I do, does that help anything here on iRacing?
No, it might a little bit, But I truthfully think it's more of a placebo effect. You know, get your grip on the wheel, turn the truck a little bit, kind of loosen yourself up. I would say if it really helped, you'd see these guys doing it, you know, between turns 3 and 4 right before the restart really aggressively, but you don't see a lot of that. Butch Davis doing a little bit of swerving there, trying to scrub them off. I think you'll get a little bit of temperature here, but weird thing about stock cars and trucks is that they seem to run the fastest on cold-ish tires. Tail end of the field trying to get checked up as the rest of the field comes up off of turn number 4. Going to be 22 laps to go at this 1 1/3 racetrack. Just about 30 miles to go here for the Western States Racing League's 2,000th race. Into the Geico restart zone. Butch Davis gets away strong, but James Lehman up on the top side. That was one of the better restarts we've seen on the outside. He's only half a car length back getting into turn number 1.
Yeah, definitely staying right with him. Didn't let him get away that we've seen most of the time. He's going to pull down, go to the inside, try and take away first place, and he will be even as they enter the corner.
Lehman can win this race. He takes the solo spot up top for the most wins on the season. Right now, he's tied with Justin Michael with 3. Justin won 3 of the first 4, I believe, and Lehman has won 3 of the last 4.
Kind of amazing the way that's worked. Still side by side they go.
But had to fall in behind, but he's going to dive right back in turn 3. It's a nice run on the bottom. Davis has a little bit of help from Bogan. Now Bogan goes down to the bottom. They're side by side for the lead, but it's Davis by a nose up on the top side. Here comes Lehman back to the inside. Man, that 43 just so strong on entry to turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, if he can stay in that line, he seems to be holding pretty well here, especially on these fresh tires. James Lehman's hoping that he can kind of maybe push a little air on him, make him make a mistake, maybe go a little bit wider than he wants to, but right now they are even side by side. Butch Davis going to lead this lap once again.
It seems like Lehman is really trying to use that side draft down the back straightaway. If he could get a better run coming up off of turn number 2, might be able to pull that 43 back a little bit more down the back and try to slide him like he has been. This is a good run down the back straightaway. Going to stay close to the door here. He's going to dive it in deep, get right down to the bottom. But, man, that 43 is so strong up top. There's just not enough room to slide him as around goes the 50 coming up off of turn 4. He's going to slide back up towards the wall, but quick 360 keeps it off of everything. The caution's going to come out as they were racing for the lead.
That is a heck of a drive there by James Lehman. Doesn't touch anything.
I mean, there was a lot going on there. I mean, fantastic, like you said, by the 50. Kept it off of everything. He's going to get sideways down on the inside of Butch Davis here. You see that truck start to get a little sideways. Might have been a net code touch, but he was already sideways. Overcorrects it, but locks up the brakes immediately to not slide up into that outside wall, not slide up in front of the field of traffic. An amazing job by the 50 of Lehman. 4 of the last 5 might not be possible anymore, but he's got 4 fenders still on that truck, 4 wheels on the ground.
See how he handles it here.
Working the slide there, and yeah, I think it might have been a little net code touch there that kind of finished the job.
I mean, that was good hard racing for the lead. Nothing really, I mean, maybe a little bit of net code, but like I said, that was a heck of a drive there by Lehman.
Getting a quick report from both pits there. They don't really think there was much of any contact. If it was net code, but both drivers, seem to be pretty good spirits. They don't like that happened, but they understand it was just a racing deal. No hard feelings there for the 50. Not that there was anything intentional or catching up the swords. It was just
no,
two
both.
guys racing 20 with less than 20 to go.
I'll say that both of them were pretty well like, well, maybe I did something. So I mean, it's one of those racing deals. It just happens, and that's the way it goes. But I mean, that could have been way worse if Lehman would have slid back up the track in front of basically the whole field. That's just gonna redo. I mean, that would ruin everybody's race.
I mean, those guys were coming so fast, so close together. Right after that restart, that would have brought it up. I mean, I'd say at least 5, but you know, it could go even higher. I thought as soon as that 50 turned back up the racetrack, he was going to the wall, going in front of traffic. Good job of knowing when to hit the brakes on that 50 so it didn't slide up the racetrack. Live to fight another day.
Should be getting the 1 to green this time by.
Just a quick update on the tail end of the field. Dan Brazington is out of the race, retired on lap 27. Heath Smith retired on lap 41. Jai Baxter, after that contact with the wall, retires on lap 70. Justin Corder retired on lap number 92 for him. They're loading that on the hauler as we speak. Going to see if Barry Thill can get back out onto the racetrack, and as a matter of fact, he is getting back out onto the racetrack right now, just leaving his pit stall, along with, I believe Todd Miles, or rather Christian Bishop, just got off of his pit stall. Dustin Burns coming in this time. Everybody doubled up, ready to roll.
Looks like he's trying to pit farm that machine.
This point, this late in the race, you know, you're only 2 laps down. I know he's sitting 31st right now, but with these restarts this late in the game, the aggression level is going to just keep rising and rising. There's always potential for calamity at the end of these things, and well, you never really want to hope for it. Dustin Burns might be hoping a little bit so he can gain some more points.
We got Butch Davis on the inside, Morris Bogan on the high side, Ryan Steele, Charlie Widener, Kyle Oakley, and Chris Simard round out that top 6.
Just outside of that, Swearingen, Opplinger, Matthews, and Werica hoping maybe to make a splash from the outside. Pace truck makes that hard left turn once again into the Geico restart zone as Butch Davis. He's going to get away strong and potentially a little tire spin up on the top side as Morris Bogan struggles to get away. He gets a huge shove from the 95, who moves down to the bottom and cuts off the 28, the 38 rather, entering turn number 1. There are 3 and 4 wide already, Mike.
Yeah, you said that aggression level is going to get turned up, and it definitely has. Lyle Swearingen looking to try and get back towards the front. You also have Matthew Opplinger trying to make some waves. Harley Widener trying to hold on to a top 5.
Things are going to tighten up big time up off of the corner, and when the aggression level rises, guys will push it a little bit harder. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple wall smacks here racing up at the front of the field here, as now you see the 20 dives down to the inside of Chris Simard there. Opplinger trying to make that pass happen, but that outside lane on these restarts has just been so great.
I want to say Opplinger gets a good run into the corner. You saw them kind of bang doors a little bit coming off, but now Chris Simard able to get the place and is up into that top 5. You also have some battling going on back towards the back as they're 2 wide. You have Justin.
Chad Stearns, and Bentley Glazer goes around, hits the 20 or hits the 11 of Busan. Big crash on the corner on the exit of turn number 2. Wayne Hutchison gets big time air with contact. Got Kukas involved as well, and he's going to make another hit to the outside wall. That all got started when Chad Stearns got loose on corner entry there after a little bit of contact. Bentley Glazer checked up a little bit to avoid, might have gotten tapped. One down into the 11 and set off a chain reaction.
You can see, oh, gets loose, 19, checks up.
Oh, Scott Cooper's just nowhere to go.
Right into the door.
Wayne Hutchison almost had it missed, but that 8 came back down the racetrack at the last second in front of him.
Just because.
Oftentimes when you see one get sideways like that, you anticipate it's going to move up or move down. Tough break there for the 242. That car just stayed right in the middle of the racetrack, directly in his path.
Yeah, nothing you could do there. You see him get a little loose behind the 37. JTW trying to figure out where to go. A little bit of net code. And then JTW tried to go back down to the bottom to avoid Stearns, and that's just kind of what set it off.
Break for a lot of guys. Our largest incident of the night involving 6 trucks. Pat Stearns, Bentley Glazer, Ray Partridge, William Fletcher got a piece of it. Scott Kukas is out of the race after that contact.
Yeah, I'd imagine he probably blew his engine, so
Wayne
be out for a
Hutchison
while.
and Dennis Huson caught up in that.
Now, Fuson had a good first part of the race.
He definitely did. I mean, you know, he got out front, took the lead after, after the first caution, right before the second, led all the way up until lap 47 or so. We're losing the lead to Justin Michael. Maybe it was a little bit earlier than that. I think he pitted on 47. He lost the lead before pitting. Kind of was never able to recover after that. Nine laps to go here at Nashville. Lights still on the pace truck, so we'll go around one more time before doubling them up. You know what they say, Mike? Cautions breed cautions.
Definitely. Butch Davis looking to become a 2-time winner this season.
I'm only the 3rd repeat winner of the season. We talked about how Justin Michael and James Lehman have both won 3 races apiece. Nobody else this season has won more than one. Butch Davis looking to be the 3rd driver to do so, and I believe the 1st repeat winner in Nashville for the WSRL. All that aside, everybody wants to have the bragging rights of winning the 2000th race. That's a milestone that only happens once. Only one driver is going to have the honor of having their name next to that prestigious banner. The field is ready.
I want to say 7-lap shootout.
Yeah, the field was already doubled up and ready to go before we got the 1 to green here. These guys are ready. They are locked and loaded. Appreciate everybody tuning in live here on YouTube. It has been an absolute blast from start to finish. Great racing, some great long green flag runs, and close quarters all over the racetrack. Now working our 4th caution of the day. 2 happened early on, had a spin. Actually, our 5th caution. Had 2 early on, 1 spin, 100 green flag pit stops on our first round. Bruce Barry Phil got turned around after our long green flag run. Wreck on the restart to put us under this most recent caution.
Ooh. So here we go once again, coming out of turn number 4. Pace truck makes that left-hand turn. Butch Davis, Ryan Steele on the front row. Butch Davis didn't quite get the huge jump that they had before, as James Lehman was able to work the outside pretty well. But that is not the case this time. That outside lane spins the tires as Butch Davis gets the run.
Great job by Butch. Bogan able to get up into second, clears for second. The Strickland Propane Chevy Silverado looks down to the inside for third, but that door is going to get closed as they are crashing. I believe I heard some skidding in turns 1 and 2, but the green flag is still out. We stay racing.
Cleaver went around.
Side by side up front. Here comes Bogan down to the inside. Little bit of contact, and around goes the 37 down the front straightaway. He's in the grass, up the racetrack in front of the field. He's going to get the 73 turned around. That's going to bring the caution out once again as the 6 of Wayne Fleet gets tagged at the tail end. Cody Matthews turned around up off of turn number 4, and a couple others collected.
Oh. Oh, what?
I tried to stop to avoid hitting that 6, but it was just a little bit too late. Potentially Netcode got him turned around there too. Which
Yeah.
I know we're kind of saying a lot, but when you start with a field of 38 trucks all throughout the country, potentially across the world.
Yeah, Cody Matthews came up just a little bit. Brian Barnes bounced off the wall.
It's like Matthews was kind of coming down as Simpson was coming up a little bit off the corner, and an immediate overcorrection. And when you get into this grass, you have no grip.
No, none. Well, just a little bit of touch there.
He locks up the brakes as he gets back out onto the racetrack. It's just not quite enough. He clips Andy Werica. Three more with damage. We've got 4 laps to go. Lights are still on the pace car. We're going to have 2 laps to go on this restart. I believe it will be a natural overtime. Still within regulation. Scheduled finishing distance is 120 laps. If we get to 1 degree next time, we'll be able to make that.
I would say, as long as the lights go out on the pace truck next time by, we'll be good.
Morris Bogan holds on to the race lead.
Talk about surprise winners. Morris Bogan would be one of those.
Currently sitting 19th in points. Has not won a race yet this year. Got himself 1 top 10 on the season. Right now, he's looking to improve on his best finish of the year. And Mike, still got lights on the pace car. We're going overtime. Laps to go in the race right now. If they cross the line, it will remain 3 laps to go. We'll increase the scheduled distance by 1 lap.
We do have 3 attempts at a green-white checker.
Butch Davis on the outside of row number 1, looking to become just the 3rd repeat winner of this season. James Lehman has 3 wins. Justin Michael has 3 wins. Lyle Swearingen, Butch Davis, Andrew Schulte, and Christian Bishop all have 1 apiece. Ryan Steele in third place. He's second in points right now before any of these drop weeks happen in a couple of weeks. Him getting a win from third place, that would look really good on his resume and definitely help him close in that gap before the drop weeks happen.
Well, I know it's only 8 laps, but James Lehman and Justin Michael last pitted on lap 103. Took that third set of tires, so we'll see what they can do here, because they're going to start a few rows back.
Might need a little bit of help from a caution flag. With only 2 laps to go here on the restart. That's going to be a lot of positions to overcome from 8th and 9th place. But if anybody could do it, probably be one of those two. James Lehman, Justin Michael. 3 wins apiece on the season. A bit of swerve, and these guys just try to scrub off their tires a little bit, get the wheel feeling right in their hands. You almost feel like it's like clicking the tongs before you use them, you know?
I mean, that
Or a placebo just helps you feel better. Yeah. Truck makes that hard left turn. 2 laps to go here. We've got overtime in the Music City. Green flag is back out for 2 more in Nashville. Strong start by the inside lane. Here comes the 20 down to the inside for third place. He's going to touch the apron, lose a little momentum, and the caution is out already. They are wadding it up on the front straightaway.
Oh. Who thought that would happen?
Might not have been a total wad up there, but a restart crash brings out the caution, I believe. Dustin Burns.
Oh, just in front of him, James Campbell.
James Campbell. Is that William Fletcher in the 38 or in the 28? Or was that 38? Kyle Oakley.
Take a look.
I believe it was Fletcher. Oh no, it was the 62. Daryl Scott.
Yep, Daryl Scott.
Oh, and they come back up and collect the 69 machine, whose day has gone from bad to worse. Kerry Cleaver went around on that on a restart just a couple of cautions ago. Didn't get a caution. Lost a ton of track time. And a little bit of benefit with these cautions, being able to try to race for it on restarts, but more damage in a late race crash is not what that 69 team wanted to see. Trying to figure out the order at the tail end of the field with all of that contact and calamity. We've got our second green-white checker attempt coming our way. Just a little bit of a race recap. Justin Michael started on the pole, led the first lap or two. He was passed by Dennis Fuson. Continued to lead for about the next 35 or so laps. He's obviously got some damage there. Justin Michael fell back in the pack just a little bit to about 4th or 5th. Clawed his way back up after saving some tires to take the race lead before that first pit stop. That's where our third caution of the race came out. We had a couple right at the start. Third caution of the race came out with Christian Bishop getting turned around on pit entry. Following that restart, a lot of green flag racing. You guys ran from about, what was it, 54 to roughly 87 or so.
Yeah, something like that.
It's kind of been caution after caution. Some changes up front. Butch Davis has been up front for a good portion of the second half of the race. He led a lot of laps there, racing with James Lehman. Up front, Morris Bogan has stayed up there along with Ryan Steele in the second half of this race. And now Morris Bogan trying to get the restart of his life to get his first win of the season. Quite possibly the biggest that there could be in Western States Racing League. The 2000th checkered flag to fall.
Well, the thing that's going to help him is we didn't make a lap. So here in the WSRL, you don't make a lap, you're single file.
That is definitely going to be, I mean, it could be good for Bogan here. That 43 could try to push him on the restart here, but everything being single file, the attacks have a lot less directions to come from here. See if Morris Bogan can get his first win of the season in that Nike Golf number 36 Chevy Silverado, followed by Butch Davis in another Chevy, Ryan Steele and Chris Simard. The top four all Chevys, and Oplinger, Charlie Widener, and Swearingen all Toyotas. Back to a Chevy with Lehman, who's recovered nicely after his spin. Back up into the top 10, then Justin Michael in another Toyota. All the way back to 10th place, Kyle Oakley for our first Ford of the race. It'll be a Chevy and Toyota battle up front as Morris Bogan in that Nike Golf machine, ready to rock and rumble for what could be the most important 2 laps of his season. We're starting to move up to the outside to protect that lane. You're allowed to pass on the outside before the start-finish line, not on the inside. Bogan doesn't care. He knows he's going to get the jump. Stays low. Green flag is out, and Bogan gets away. He's got about a car length over the 43, but maybe not as much of a jump as he wanted to get as they're side-by-side for the top 5.
Yeah, rolling through. He's got a good start. Butch Davis, Ryan Steele, Chris Simard, Matthew Oplinger trying to get a couple spots, and Lyle Swearingen, James Lehman battling side-by-side with Justin Michael also trying to get through there. Oplinger goes down to the inside of Chris Simard.
This is going to be it. The white flag is in the air. Morris Bogan, 1 lap to go, 1 mile and a third to go. And Butch Davis all over that rear bumper. Takes a wider entry. We'll see if he tries to cut down off the corner and get that run, but he can't cut down. He's going to lose a car length coming up off of turn number 2. This might be Morris Bogan's day.
And Morris Bogan going to lead him all the way through turn 4. Butch Davis, Ryan Steele. Nobody's going to catch him. Morris Bogan wins here at Nashville. Butch Davis hangs on for second. Ryan Steele in third.
A little bit of a love tap between Bogan and Davis there. What a drive by Morris Bogan. We didn't talk about him a whole heck of a lot in the first half of this race, but he showed up with that track position. Makes up 22 total positions from his starting spot in 23rd. What a drive for that number 36. Chevy Power looking strong here today, taking the top 3. But Morris Bogan, the strongest of them all, with the checkered flag coming directly to his hand. And now, for the first time this year, and for the 2000th time in total, we're going to see him burn it down. A little bit. Oh, there comes another car. I think Darrell Scott gets up into him. Now Bogan's going to blow that engine.
Might as well. You don't need it now to get on the hauler.
Contact there from Campbell, and the turn 1 demolition derby ensues.
Yeah, definitely. Get this race completed. They take a break, and we'll come back October 22nd at Indianapolis.
Buddy, Indy, with these trucks, that's going to be a great time.
Well, you're going to have to tell me all about it. I will not be here.
Oh, that's right. You're leaving a couple days early.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll hold
22nd.
down the fort for you, Mike.
Yeah. Gonna have to. All right. Let's see here if we can get some drivers up here in the booth.
We've got Ryan Steele, our third place finisher. Ryan, it's Liam and Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, it kind of seemed like the first half of your race and the second half of your race were completely different stories. You wound up kind of benefiting on some pit strategy there when the caution came out. Before we get to that, walk us through the start of your race and what was it like battling through traffic here?
Yeah, my qualifying lap was just catastrophically bad, and starting in the middle of the field, it's just so hard to pass here because it's so easy to defend anyone who's trying to pass on the bottom, and it's so hard to get to someone's outside. So you can try real hard to try to pass someone, just wear out your tires and get nowhere. So I just kind of, I tried to pass people where I could, but I didn't push the issue. And I assumed, and I was correct, that there would be a caution during green flag pit stops because of how much faster people go when they're on fresh tires and how the cars are a little bit out of control in the first couple laps. That was just my bet. And I'm like, it'll be my best shot of getting a whole bunch of track position. And then once I get that track position, I'll probably stay there because of how easy it is to defend a position. So, I got pretty much everything I wanted out of that.
You played that strategy to a T. What was going through your head when that caution came out, when you're running up in the top three, chasing those leaders down, knowing that you've got free shot over almost 20 drivers who are going to be pinned a lap down?
Oh, yeah. There was a lot going on because, I wanted to go and fight for a win, but I knew fighting would be extremely risky for very little gain. So I didn't want to fight too hard. I was like, I'd rather just take the points, make sure I get a podium, and make sure I don't crash, because that's the only thing that would, ruin the plan as it worked out. So I didn't play too many risks. I was kind of hoping that the guys in first and second would, rub themselves a little bit too much the wrong way, and then I'd sneak under them or something like that. But I'm happy to settle for third here.
Well, third place is a super strong run here today. Is there anybody you want to thank for getting the job done here and getting that podium finish?
As always, I have to thank the Doug Bear team for helping prepare for the races, and I got to thank you guys for covering the series.
Awesome stuff, man. Congratulations on the podium finish. We'll probably be talking to you again soon.
Yep, hope so. Thank you.
All right, and next we've got Butch Davis, our second place finisher. Mike, I believe you've got him.
Hey, Butch, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Doing great, guys. Nice way to celebrate my 51st birthday with a second place finish tonight. I'll take it.
Is it your birthday tonight, too?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's mine, too.
Nice.
It's a birthday
Happy
buddies
birthday,
up in
man.
the booth now.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you had some pretty tough battle in there, especially with James Lehman for a few laps. You guys were putting on a show. Looks like a little net code probably caused Lehman to get a little loose there, but you were battling up front most of the night. How was it actually racing out there on this concrete surface here?
It's kind of crazy. I love this track, but I hate this track. This place is so aero sensitive. Kind of once you get behind somebody, it's almost impossible to make any ground up. It's very, very difficult. You have to really, really work hard to offset your line, whether it be entry or exit. And just try to make up ground that way and hope that the guy in front of you makes a little bit of a mistake. When you get alongside somebody, though, with James, it sucks that we had the net code or whatever happened. If I came down, hey, that's on me. But yeah, that was fun, man. Like, we had battled a little bit before that, and then having that battle again, it was just a blast. And that is one thing I do like about this place, is you can run side by side. You can run kind of like a second lane. I wouldn't say top, and a bottom lane, but the tires, the concrete just eats the right front especially, and just makes it difficult when you're back in traffic. So we got lucky tonight with the timing of the yellows and put us in a decent position, and my old buddy Morris beat me out to it, so that's good on him.
Yeah, definitely. As soon as it went single file, it kind of looked like it was his race to lose. He would have to make a mistake in order for you to catch him, especially on those restarts when you only had a couple laps to do that. But you were able to hang on. You got your P2. You got a good points day. But anybody want to thank before we get you out of here today for your strong run?
Yeah, definitely want to thank all my teammates at FBR Motorsports, sponsors, SimMotion, VNM Simulations, FBR Simrig Accessories Creation Studio. Thanks to all my family and friends for a pretty decent birthday. Everybody saying what's up to me and everything else. And again, for my family letting me do this shit stuff. Sorry. And yeah, thank you guys up in the booth. Thank Bob and everybody else that's involved in putting WSRL on. And hey, man, this was race number 2000 for the league. Pretty cool way to end it.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and happy birthday. Don't celebrate too hard, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen.
Butch Davis, your second place finisher, and now we're bringing in the man of the hour, Morris Bogan. You get your 5th career WSRL win, quite possibly one of the most important races. Number 2000. How do you feel, man?
I feel good, man. I don't think it's my 5th. I think it's my 1st. Am I up on some records?
Oh, you
But
might be.
anyways, it felt great. I feel like I'm going up against some pretty stout racers here. And when I first joined the league, I was like, okay, this is a good challenge for me. You know, I haven't raced with Butch and all those guys in years. Like I've raced with those guys like 20 years ago, and I was like, okay, let me get back in the groove. And it's been coming along pretty smoothly. Got my wheel adjusted nice, and once I got that, it was just everything's just coming to life.
I apologize for the incorrect number of wins there. I mean, definitely the first one on the season, and you got the job done here. And well, talk with us about your pit strategy. It kind of seemed like you, along with the 12 and maybe even Butch for a little while, you guys were kind of towards the back. Then that caution came out and flipped the strategy, and you guys just never left that track position.
Yeah, I've raced here before, and there's usually a caution when people are pitting, and I just remembered that and kept it on the track. And I did start to pit, and then the caution came out, and I had one lap to go, so I ended up having to pit like on the next go around, just trickling, and I was like, "Oh, that's over for me." But the pit strategy, and I guess I had put a couple laps on people to where I was able to come out in the same position I went in, and it worked out.
Talk with us about the move you made for the race lead on Butch Davis there with just a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, I just figured I mean stick right behind him for, and I had a lot of rear brake in the car, so I could just tap the brake and the car would turn into the turn for me just by hitting the brake. And that's what I did, and it worked. And my rear tires got some grip, and it just held. I gotta just give it to those tires. Plus, like I said, I'm pretty good on tires, so I think I had more grip than him. Even in the long run, I never lost pace with them, and they were two in a draft, and they weren't leaving me, so I knew I had a good chance at that last try.
You put together a good run, and we've definitely seen your improvement throughout the course of this season. You've just been getting better and better in that Nike 36 truck. Who helps you get it done? Who helped you get to victory lane today? Are there any shout outs you want to give out?
Just my friends at FBR, Lyle, Butch, Chad, Dan, Mike, and there's they all help me. We're all been friends for a long time, so me coming back and starting racing again, it's just get me up, just waking up the racer in me. That's it.
That's awesome stuff, Morris. Congratulations on the win in race number 2000 for the Western States Racing League. Fantastic
That's
driving.
that right there is cool to have won the 2000th race for WSRO. It was 50 years, right?
I think
51
this is
season.
season 51.
51 season. That's amazing for a league to stay together that long. It's amazing.
Absolutely is. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again sometime soon. We've got just a couple weeks off next week, and then we come back in 2.
All right. Hopefully I'll be up in there so I could talk to you guys again.
Some stuff. Congrats, man.
All right, thank you.
Well,
a fantastic race here at Nashville. Came right down to the wire. Morris Bogan gets his first win, and I'm looking at the stats here on Sim Racer Hub. It says he's got 4 Speedway wins, but that might be incorrect, and if not, it might be from way back when he used to race with you. But Morris Bogan gets it done. Butch Davis and Ryan Steele. Go ahead and go through the rest of the results.
Yeah, Ryan Steele, Matthew Opplinger in P4. Chris Sumard brings home a top 5. Charlie Widener, James Lehman battles back for a P7. Lyle Swearingen, Justin Michael, and Kyle Oakley round out that top 10. We got Chad Simpson, Brian Barnes, Justin T. Wilkinson, Matt Sisler, and Bob Beltrami, that top 15.
After that, we've got Chad Stearns, William Fletcher, Ray Partridge, Todd Miles, and Daryl Scott round out the top 20. Daryl Scott, the first driver, 1 lap down. Then Kerry Cleaver, Dustin Burns, James Campbell Burns. Give him a shout out because we saw him in 31st with about 3 laps to go before those last couple green-white checkers. And James Campbell recovers from 2 spins to get back up to 23rd. Christian Bishop, Keith Kelman, Andy Werica, Cody Matthews, Dennis Fuson back in 28th, Wayne Hutchison, and Heath Smith round out your top 30. Trailing the field was Bentley Glazer, Wayne Fleet, Julian Ritchie, Barry Phil, Scott Kukas, Dustin Corder, Jai Baxter, and Dan Brazington finishes in 38th and final position here today in Nashville.
Yeah, so like we said, they're going to take off next week and then come back to Indianapolis. So it doesn't necessarily get any easier here after they went to Atlanta and then Nashville. They take a week off and go to Indianapolis, and I will not be here, but Liam should be, and I believe Alan's going to fill in the producer. So have a couple guys take care of you.
Indy's going to be great. You know, it's going to be tough to pass, but with those long straightaways on the front and back, one little mistake in those corners is going to cost you so much time. These guys will have to be perfect to try to win that race.
Yeah, definitely will. But I will be back here in 3 weeks, rested and refreshed after a trip down to Homestead, Miami to take in the NASCAR races down there. But with that being said, from all the drivers of the Western States Racing League and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night, and we will see you next time.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Thanks, Liam.